What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Evan and I make videos about hot stocks, dividends, and options. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload. Now in today's video, we have a lot to cover, and this is things from new price predictions put out for NIO to new offerings for NIO to raise money, and even NIO climbing the top auto manufacturer list. And we're going to go over where they're actually at on that list as of right now. But before we actually jump into the video, if you guys wouldn't mind going down and hitting the like button, I would really appreciate it, and it lets me know that you guys enjoy these video updates every day. So again, if you guys wouldn't mind going down and hitting the like button, I would really appreciate it. Now, before we actually jump too deep into all this content, to give you guys some context of where NIO is trading right now, they're actually trading right around $62, and they actually opened the day pretty high, and they were up to about $64 at their peak this morning and up about 3%. And you can see now through most of the trading day, they've actually been pulling back down, and they're actually trading pretty neutral as compared to yesterday's close. Now, there could be a lot of reasons as to why NIO is actually pulling back. But with all this news that we're going to go over and all these new catalysts that should be pushing up NIO's share price, at least in my opinion, I don't think there's really any reason as to why NIO is pulling back other than people securing profits. Now, when we look at the 1 week, this is where you can see a broader view of how NIO has been trading recently. And they're up still 17% on the week, which is not bad. But definitely the last few days, they've been trading pretty flat. Now, it hasn't really been red or green. It's been trading, again, pretty flat throughout the last few days. But of course, we know a lot of these gains recently have been because of NIO Day. And they actually put out a lot of information for people to digest and a lot of things that NIO investors can look forward to in the future. And so that's why we see this big run up on the weekly chart. Because actually within the last week of trading, NIO is only around $53. And then leading up to NIO Day, which was on Saturday, NIO had a nice run up, but then of course on Monday we saw them jump up huge. And this is when NIO actually did all these big things and got these price target upgrades, and they actually surpassed a few companies on the top auto manufacturer list. But before we actually look at the auto manufacturing list and where NIO ranks, first I want to give you guys some context of what these analysts are looking at in NIO and actually how much they've increased their price targets in the last couple days. Now, when we look back at the past, we know there's been a couple big players that really like to upgrade their price targets pretty often when it comes to NIO. And these include JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, and also Credit Suisse. Now, JP Morgan was the first one to upgrade their price target, and they went from $50 up to $75. And then after them, Deutsche Bank and the analyst Edison Yu, which we mentioned many times before on the channel, he took his price target from $50, which was much like JP Morgan, and he upgraded it to $70. So he didn't quite upgrade as much as JP Morgan, but a common trend you're going to see is that all these new price targets are $70 and above. And then Credit Suisse and their analyst Bin Wang upgraded his target from 65 up to 71. Now, he already had a pretty bullish price target on NIO, and $65 before all these recent price upgrades, it was one of the relatively higher price targets there was. Now, of course, he's upgraded that to $71, and that seems to be about the average right now, between $70 and $75. But the biggest upgrade so far was a new target among analysts covering NIO, and this was a $100 price target from Kelvin Lau. And then one other price target was also from Bank of America, and they upgraded from $59 up to $70. So again, you can see the average is right around $70 to $75. But with that $100 price target, I'm surprised we haven't seen NIO shoot up a bit more than they have been. Now, the only reason I think that's maybe not the case is because all these price targets actually came out in such a short amount of time. I think if these analysts would have spaced out their price targets, we maybe would have seen NIO continue climbing up at a more steady pace. Because again, we saw they jumped up this morning, but then since then they kind of tapered back down, and all this hype about these price upgrades kind of wore off. Now, I think if these analysts would have spread those out, NIO would have seen nice jumps in their price each day for a few days in a row. But I suppose these analysts are just trying to get that price target out as soon as possible before NIO shoots up again. Because that's what we've seen in the past. All these analysts have upgraded their price targets multiple times. And they also upgrade them quite drastically, because even just looking at JP Morgan, for example, they went from $50 up to $75, which is a 50% increase. And this is not uncommon among NIO analysts. So that's probably the most likely reason. They just want to kind of keep up to date with NIO, and they don't want to be left behind with a $50 price target if NIO jumps up and is trading at $70 or $80 in the next few weeks. Now, to jump into some of the reasons why these analysts actually upgraded their price target so drastically, well, of course, we know it's from NIO Day, but there were a lot of announcements that happened during NIO Day that should help push up their share price in the future. And I think that's what a lot of these analysts are taking into consideration. I mean, the biggest announcement was probably their ET7, and this is their newest sedan model that's supposed to help NIO compete with the Tesla Model 3. Now, of course, it is priced much higher and it's about $70,000, but it's also supposed to have a lot of features that other NIO and electric vehicles in general don't have. So for example, it has that 150 kilowatt hour battery pack that NIO has been mentioning. And when you combine this with the aerodynamics of the ET7, it's going to get about 620 miles of range. Now, like I've mentioned before, that's huge for any vehicle, even a gas-powered vehicle that typically gets about 400 to 500 miles of range. Now, when you combine that with the autonomous driving that they're going to be implementing into this ET7, again, a lot of these analysts are looking at these future technologies that NIO is innovating. And not only is NIO innovating these new technologies, but they're doing it so quickly, a lot of these other companies aren't going to be able to keep up with NIO. And this also gives NIO an advantage and should help them catch up to Tesla at some point in the near future. And just in the processors alone in the ET7, this is going to boast 7 times more processing and computing power than Tesla's full self-driving system. Now, of course, you guys know that it's kind of hard to compare NIO to Tesla, not only because Tesla is a US company, but also because NIO is more in the luxury end of vehicles, and they don't have nearly as many vehicles that they're producing on an annual basis. Now, of course, I don't think NIO would complain if they were producing as many vehicles as Tesla, but they also don't have those capabilities as of right now. And we know by the end of this year, they're hoping to hit between 100 and 150,000 deliveries. Now, last year, Tesla hit almost 500,000, and Tesla is mass producing all these vehicles. And to produce almost 500,000 vehicles per year, that's a lot to keep up with. And I know Elon Musk really pushed his employees because they really wanted to hit 500,000 deliveries in a single year. Now, of course, they came up barely short of that number, but this is kind of where Tesla and NIO differ. And so it is hard to compare the two. But one place where you can compare NIO to Tesla is on the all-time auto manufacturing list. And when you look at the top auto manufacturers in the world, of course, we know Tesla is number 1, and they're creeping up on that $1 trillion market cap. But NIO, with the gains they've been having recently, they're not far behind Tesla. Now, of course, they are worth about 1/8 of the price of Tesla, but NIO has a market cap of about $100 billion. And that actually puts them 3rd on the list of top auto manufacturers. And number 2 that NIO has to surpass is Toyota. And Toyota has a $200 billion market cap, so they're only twice as big as NIO. But when you look at the deliveries that Toyota is putting out compared to NIO, NIO doesn't have nearly as many deliveries. They're a fraction of what Toyota is putting out, but yet they're trading at half the price of Toyota. So not only does this show you where electric vehicles are going and how big they're going to be in the future, but it shows you how a company like NIO, where they start out so small, and even last year they weren't sure they were going to have enough cash to make it through the year. Well, now they're really thriving. And hopefully at some point this year or possibly into next year, NIO is going to start expanding globally. And then I'm sure they're going to pass Toyota and blow them out of the water pretty soon. But they had just recently surpassed Volkswagen and BYD, which are both trading about $95 and $96 billion. So they just narrowly passed them. But especially with all the investor interest as compared to those two companies, NIO is just going to continue climbing. And especially in the future, with where electric vehicles are going, there's really nothing to stop NIO, unless for some reason something were to happen, like they were to get removed from US exchanges. But again, you have to kind of weigh the odds, and if that's something that's actually likely to happen, especially when NIO says that they're compliant with the laws and regulations. But it's always something to keep in mind because it is a possibility where that's not really possible with a company like Tesla. So definitely just something to keep in mind when investing in a company like NIO. Now, one other thing that NIO actually announced recently within the last couple days was a new offering to raise some more money. And I'm sure you guys know that NIO has done stock offerings in the past, and they did one in August as well as in November, I believe. And the first offering was for about 88.5 million shares, and the second offering was for about 68 million shares. And of course, NIO raised a significant amount of money both times, Now this offering is a bit different because NIO is actually doing convertible senior notes, and they've priced this offering at about $1.3 billion. Now it says here that NIO has priced $650 million of 0% convertible senior unsecured notes due February 1st of 2026. And then they also have $650 million of 0.5% convertible senior unsecured notes due February 1st of 2027. So of course these mature in 5 and 6 years. But of course the goal is to raise money right now while NIO can use it, and they're going to use this money for general corporate purposes and to further strengthen their cash and balance sheet positions. And the offering is also expected to close on January 15th of 2021. So at this point, that's only 2 days away here. And for those of you who maybe don't know what a convertible note is, or you're not sure how it works, of course you can look up a YouTube video and get a pretty in-depth explanation. But in short, a convertible note is a form of short-term debt that converts into equity, typically in conjunction with a future financing round. So basically the investor would be loaning money to a startup or a smaller company, and instead of a return in the form of principal plus interest, so rather than getting your money back plus interest on top of that, the investor would receive equity in the company. Now the main advantage of issuing convertible notes is that it doesn't force the issuer and investor to determine the value of a company. Because a company like NIO, it's not super easy to put a value on them. Now, of course, we know they're trading with a market cap of around 100 billion, but when they're trading at 40, 50, 60 times their sales, it's hard to put a set value on that kind of a company. And that's where these convertible notes come in. And it allows a company like NIO to raise more money, especially at a time like this where they could really use it and help boost up production. Now, for those of you who made it this far into the video, I want to hear what you guys think NIO's share price is going to be by the end of 2021. So by the end of this year, what do you guys think NIO is going to be trading around? Now, I think it's very possible that they could get up to around that $100 area. And I think that's probably pretty in line with these analysts. Now, of course, they have a more conservative estimate, but I think a lot of them are likely going to end up increasing their price predictions, especially once we see NIO continue rising. And that's probably when we're going to start seeing more $100 price predictions. So again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments and about where you think NIO is going to be trading by the end of the year. Also, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, make sure you guys sign up using the link in the description. And when you sign up and deposit $100, you get 4 free stocks. And if you guys want to join my Discord, I recently set up a Discord server. So if you guys want to join that and chat among like-minded people, feel free to join using the link in the description, or you can also use the top pinned comment down in the comment section. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one. Bye.